soup is bubbling away, and now we're adding the shrimp. Our final seafood ingredient, and the shrimp will only take a minute or two to fully cook. And of course, my favorite, the mussels. Delicious. The fish is infused with that flavor. It just has a little touch of spice from the red pepper flakes. It's absolutely delicious. Hi, I'm Stella V, and today we will be preparing a wonderful seafood stew. Seafood stew, it can be called many things. If you're in the San Francisco area, they call it cioppino, brodato. I was born on the Adriatic coast of Italy in a town called Vasto. And most of the flavor will be coming from the broth. Today I have made a broth from all of my shells. I save all of my shells and I keep them in the freezer. When I'm ready to make my broth, all I have to do is add them to some water, an onion, and some celery, and I have an amazing, delicious seafood broth. The flavor comes from tomato paste and tomatoes. All will be deglazing with a dry white wine. The aromatics, chopped garlic, a little bit of hot red pepper flakes, bay leaves, paprika, and to finish it off, we'll be finishing it with chopped parsley. And we're also adding crab. Crab with the shell adds so much flavor to a stew. And we'll be finishing it off with a little bit of lemon juice and some lemon zest. Adding a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, and we will saute our vegetables. I've hit the saute button, and that means it's on. I'm adding my onions to the olive oil. Next, celery. Again, I've added my celery, but if you're lucky enough to have fennel in your marketplace, use fennel. I would strongly suggest that. It adds a wonderful flavor. One bell pepper, chopped. Again, I'm in my Mexican marketplace, so I'm using a poblano pepper, but a bell pepper, any pepper you have will work. We'll be sauteing that for 4 to 5 minutes until the vegetables soften. Monday is market day in Chapala, and I love attending that market. I found these wonderful crabs at the market. It is teeming with fresh vegetables, wonderful produce, fabulous seafood, poultry, beef, any kind of meat you can look for, it's at that market. The vegetables have been sauteing for a few minutes. I'm going to season it now with some salt. Give it another stir. The vegetables are pretty soft right now. I'm going to add 2 cloves of chopped garlic. We're adding our tomato paste, giving it a quick stir, and as you can see, it's starting to brown on the bottom. That tells me it's time to deglaze the pot. We're going to be using our half a cup of white wine, and see how easily those brown bits just come off the bottom. The wine adds flavor and it makes it so easy to get that bottom of that pot cleaned up. Time to add the rest of the aromatics. I have about a half a teaspoon of chopped red pepper flakes. Now, if you don't want spicy, you can always omit those. I have some paprika and also 2 bay leaves. We'll give it another quick stir. And now we're adding 28 ounces of tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, or you can use a passata. Passata are crushed tomatoes that have gone through an extra step, and they're very, very smooth. We're going to let the tomatoes cook down for a few minutes, and it'll help meld all of those wonderful flavors together. That's been cooking together for a few minutes, and now I'm going to add that wonderful, flavorful broth. Smells delicious already. Because I'm using crab in this seafood mixture, I'm going to add the crab now. I'm putting the lid on and we'll be setting it to pressure for 10 minutes. Because the rest of the seafood takes very little time, we do not put it under pressure. Making sure the valve is in the sealing position. If you struggle with deveining and peeling shrimp, I've got some great tips for you. First, start with a really good sharp knife, and one that's not too large, something that you can hold comfortably in your hand. Pick up the shrimp and simply slide the knife, run it right down the very back of that shrimp. Peel away the shrimp shell and I always save them in a baggie and in my freezer because that is going to be the key to a wonderful seafood broth. Really add a lot of flavor. Deveining simply means there is a black line of a vein going along the back of the shrimp. The easiest way to take that off once you split it down the middle is to use a paper towel and quickly and easily just pull it apart. And there it is. How simple is that? We've taken the shell off, we've deveined it, and it's ready to be used in your favorite dish. The Instant Pot has come to pressure. It's been 10 minutes and now it's naturally released for 5 or 6 minutes, and we'll just turn the knob. We've released any remaining pressure and now we'll remove the lid. Oh my goodness, smells delicious. Looks wonderful. Oh, I wish you could smell that. It is so flavorful. We'll cancel the pressure and put it on to saute. Time to add the rest of the seafood. First the mussels. Give it a good stir. Now we're adding the fish. Make sure it's submerged in that beautiful broth and liquid. I'm going to remove the crab just so I have a little more room to add the seafood that needs to be cooked. The soup is bubbling away and now we're adding the shrimp. Our final seafood ingredient, and the shrimp will only take a minute or two to fully cook. Your choice of seafood is optional, and because I chose crab today, we put the crab in under pressure so that it's fully cooked and it'll add all of that wonderful flavor to the broth. If you're not going to make this dish today, make sure you subscribe to be alerted to all our videos, including this one. In the description, there's a safe link. If you click on that, provide your email address, we will send you the recipes directly to your mailbox. So when you see the link that says healthyeating.live, that is where our recipes will be. It's almost time to try this delicious seafood stew, and I can't wait. Just a couple more things. We're adding a couple of teaspoons of lemon juice, and we'll put those crabs back in. This smells and looks delicious. I can't wait to try it. But before I do, we're going to top it with a little lemon zest for a little extra freshness. And I'm using my favorite kitchen tool, Microplane. Microplane is the best kitchen tool you'll ever have. And if you'd like to learn more about Microplane, in the description there's a link to Amazon. They have a complete range and you can see all of the amazing Microplane products there. I have some wonderful crusty bread to dip in, but before I do, I want to taste that broth. I can't even describe how delicious this is. I do hope you'll try it, and please leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, my favorite, the mussels. Delicious. The fish is infused with that flavor. It just has a little touch of spice from the red pepper flakes. It's absolutely delicious. If you're not going to make this dish today, make sure you subscribe. So click that subscribe button to be alerted to all our videos, including this one. Hi, I'm Stella V, and this is one of my very favorite kitchen tips. My secret, do not throw anything out that's going to add flavor to your meals. Flavor comes from many sources, and the best place for flavor, anything that you think you want to throw out, please don't. Every time I have shrimp, I save all my shells, I put them in a baggie and keep them in the freezer. As you can see, I've got some crab shells, shrimp shells, onion, celery, and that's all you need to make the most delicious, flavorful seafood broth. I've simply taken all of those frozen shells and added them to water. I've filled my Instant Pot 2/3 of the way full, added all of these shells and scraps, 1 onion, celery, and salt, and I've put it on pressure cook. The pressure cook went for 45 minutes and then I let it naturally release. I've removed all the solids. I have left wonderful liquid gold. It smells wonderful. It's going to add so much flavor to any of your seafood dishes. Now you can simply put these in containers and keep them in the freezer, or what I like to do is put them into mason jars, and that way I'm not using freezer space for my broth. The key to using mason jars to keep your broth is simply making sure that the broth is boiling hot, and I've got it on the Sauté function, and then I simply pour them into my mason jar, seal it really, really tight, and turn it over. I keep them flipped over for a few hours, even overnight. The key is to make sure that the lid is concave. very simple. I have a funnel that's made for mason jars, and I've got a little tiny sieve to remove any impurities, and I simply fill the mason jar with this wonderful, flavorful broth. And if you don't have a funnel specifically made for mason jars, there's a link in the description. I get mine from Amazon, and you'll be able to find it there. And this is what you're looking for. You'll see a slight concave to the top of the lid, and that means it's ready. It'll be ready for you whenever you're ready to make your sauces. And you can always store your broth, any kind of stock, in Ziploc bags and just simply keep them in the freezer for when you need them. Now, if you haven't got your Instant Pot yet, or you're ready to step up to a new model, please make sure you look in the description, and there's a link to Amazon where you'll see the whole selection of Instant Pots. And the next video you should see is right here. Hi, come cook with me. Hi, come cook with me, because I'm Stella V. And if you like what you see, hit subscribe, leave a comment, tell me that you subscribed, and I'll reply.